Good morning, I'm Alex King.
And I'm Nathan Edwards. Here's 3 quick stories to get your day started. Get your tickets for Muse Machine's production of 9 to 5. Performances start tomorrow night and run through Sunday at the Victoria Theater. It's all high school kids from all over different high schools, and they come together to put together this production. I actually did this back in the day myself.
Did you?
Yes, I did. I was in
so cute.
Peter Pan from the Muse Machine.
That's so fun.
Yeah, it's a great opportunity for these kids, and it's really cool because you get to perform in the Victoria Theater.
Yeah,
so,
absolutely. I love that.
So
Such
neat.
a fun idea. And this Saturday is STEM for all at the Boone Shop. You can visit the museum for free and learn all about science and have fun with the entire family.
Yeah, this used to be called Super Science Saturday, but they changed the name, so you might be familiar, but it's a great opportunity. I mean, free.
Yeah, why not?
Take it.
Get the kids out of the house.
Take the opportunity.
Learn
Go out.
something new.
Yeah, the cool thing is they have like a bunch of demos and stuff kids could do. Like one time, my oldest son and I, we made like snow out of chemicals and stuff. Yeah, it was so neat.
Sounds so fun.
I loved it.
See, even adults can have fun.
That's right. big kids. And Val's Bakery is holding its grand opening at its new location this Saturday at 9 a.m. It's underneath the St. Clair Lofts in downtown Dayton. Now, they just moved from their Brown Street location. This new spot is quite the vibe, and the folks down at
so
Val's,
nice.
they make delicious
I want these plants
pastries.
in my house.
Yeah, I love it. I love the logo, and they said that they've always wanted a space this big. So congrats to them,
Yeah,
and
absolutely.
head out
That's
and
great.
show them some support.
It is a windy and chilly start to the day, and more winter weather arrives next week.
Melina Brown is keeping you safe this morning with some
Monday morning, 911 calls just released, making it more clear how this all started.
Oh, this guy just tried to run this lady over with the truck. Yeah, it's not good. I need somebody here quickly, please.
The call coming from the manager of a Trotwood mobile home park. She's locked herself in her office with the victim. She tells dispatch the driver of the truck is still in the area. More 911 calls start coming in from other witnesses.
Oh, my God, I'm shaking. It was awful.
Police say after officers get to the mobile home park, the suspect points a long weapon at them and speeds off. Officers chase. Just released, ODOT video shows some of what happened next. The truck can be seen speeding away from what's become several officers along US 35. It appears the truck hits stop sticks but doesn't slow down. Later, it looks like the driver throws something out of the truck but keeps going. Bryant Keeble says he saw a lot of it. He started filming when he saw the stop sticks come out, thinking something might happen.
Yeah, it was wild. It was hectic for real. I couldn't believe it. You know, when my initial reaction was just like disbelief.
But that was just the beginning. Keeble catches the truck landing on top of the Trotwood police cruiser. Officers move in. That's when Keeble says he had to act quickly.
Shots are going everywhere. I didn't know where they was coming from. I didn't know where they were going. So yeah, I tried to back out at first in the car, and I seen it was too much traffic behind me. So I got out and started running. Yeah, it did sound like the shots was just whizzing all over the place.
Dayton police are giving us an update later this morning. Of course, we will bring that live to you as it happens. To get updates sent directly to your phone, download the Dayton 24/7 app. Scan the QR code on your screen right now. You can find it for free in your device's app store.
Ohio's new social media law is on hold. A judge temporarily blocked it from going into effect next Monday. It would have forced social media companies to get verifiable parental consent for users under 16.
We didn't ban anything. We just don't want these companies and maybe some of the strangers on these platforms to reach your little ones before they're ready.
The judge called the law, quote, too broad. A group representing social media companies say it's a violation of a child's First Amendment rights. In a statement, Governor Mike DeWine says he's disappointed in the injunction, saying, quote, the negative effects that social media sites and apps have on our children's mental health have been well documented, and this law was one way to empower parents to have a role in their kids' digital lives, end quote.
Today, state lawmakers will try to override Governor DeWine's veto of the SAFE Act. The measure would ban gender-affirming care for transgender kids, including hormone treatment, surgeries, and puberty blockers. It also bans trans kids from competing in female sports. Governor DeWine vetoed the bill when he got it to his desk, saying he trusts a child's parents and doctors to make the right decisions. He then signed an executive order banning gender reassignment surgeries for kids. The House and Senate need a 3/5 vote to override the veto.
Also happening in Columbus today, a House committee is planning on making changes to the so-called bathroom bill. It would require K through 12 schools to designate male and female bathrooms. Lawmakers say they want to add the definition of biological sex. The goal is to align the measure with other bills going through the House, like the SAFE Act.
We now know the name of a man killed in a shooting in Butler Township. The Montgomery County coroner says Benny Fentress died on Sunday. Police found the 41-year-old's body in a home on Creekview Circle with gunshot wound. The suspect's behind bars this morning, but police have not said who that person is.
Two people in Huber Heights are now waking up with relatives this morning after a car crashed into their home. Check this out. Police say it happened around 9 yesterday morning. According to investigators, they believe the driver had a medical condition, possibly leading to the crash. Crews took that driver to the hospital. No word on their condition.
Moving live over the Troy traffic circle this morning, Upper Valley Medical Center is closing its labor and delivery unit next month. Premier Health says there's a declining birth rate locally. Last year, the hospital had an average of less than one delivery a day. Officials say they're also facing challenges recruiting doctors. UVMC will continue to perform gynecological surgery. Staff at UVMC will be able to move within Premier Health.
Community leaders across the Miami Valley are joining together to combat hunger in the area. The Super Bowl of Caring is helping to eliminate child hunger in Dayton. Our partners will be accepting food and monetary donations throughout the area. Those donations will then be distributed to 3 local organizations: the Food Bank, For the Love of Children or Flock, and the House of Bread. You can help by taking out your phone and scanning this QR code to make a donation. You have until February 12th.
Our time right now, 5:11. Don't forget you can get your headlines scrolling at the bottom of your screen.
And your weather on the side of the screen all morning long, even during commercials.
I'm Kayla Gaskins in Washington. Coming up, why an art dealer was called to give congressional testimony.
You're watching Your Day.
No AI, Tropicana is releasing limited edition bottles that remove the letters A and I from its name to draw attention to its natural ingredients. The company is stationing a truck at the Consumer Electronics Show in Las Vegas this week to give the bottles away. Tropicana is also hiding 100 of the bottles across the U.S. at grocery stores owned by Kroger to stir up more interest in the brand.
Tropicana. I have thoughts on that, but I need time to get some rants going. Anyway, current wind gusts across the area. We are looking at 30-mile-per-hour wind gusts. The winds themselves are 20 to 25, which means this is quite breezy, dare I say, windy at times, and that's the way it's going to be going this morning. In addition to that, we still have an area or two of some light snow showers. A lot of them have pushed to the east of Dayton, so we may be done here for at least a little bit. Still, though, I wouldn't put it past that we do deal with a couple of more snow showers based on radar, based on the feed coming in off of Lake Michigan. In terms of today, temperatures should be able to get in the mid-30s. We will be looking at overnight lows in the low 30s as we do get some clearing possible. But by tomorrow morning, there will likely be a little wave that does arrive. That could lead to some flurries. Otherwise, tomorrow, probably more clouds than sun, but then clearing during the second half of the day. Big storyline we're watching other than that is going to be for Saturday. More snow is possible. It is worth pointing out that Saturday in particular will be the day where we'll likely see temperatures fall, but Sunday, Monday, and Tuesday, that's where it's going to be quite cold. Monday and Tuesday's lows will be heavily influenced by how much snow is on the ground. We could easily see sub-zero if we get clear skies and snow, but both of those are iffy at this stage. On the roads this morning, not iffy per se, but very wet out there. And based on the windy weather, it's a morning commute where you just want to give yourself plentiful extra time. There's no issues, though, to report at this stage.
We want to give you a live look at the U.S. Capitol right now, where testimony continued yesterday for President Biden's son, Hunter.
His art dealer in the hot seat as Republicans continue to dig into the Biden family business and how exactly they made their millions.
This is House Republicans move to hold Hunter Biden in contempt of Congress for defying his subpoena.
National correspondent Kayla Gaskins joining us now with more from Capitol Hill.
In the latest attempt to figure out how the Bidens amassed their wealth and if it was legal, House Republicans bringing in Hunter Biden's art dealer for a closed-door deposition Tuesday.
We have no idea what this family did to receive the millions of dollars they received from our enemies around the world.
House Oversight Committee Chair James Comer wants to find out if foreign buyers with ulterior motives bought any of Hunter's paintings, some fetching up to $500,000. A price tag art critics concede is extremely high for an unestablished painter. The art dealer's testimony is part of an ongoing investigation into the Biden family's foreign business deals. It comes as House Republicans ramp up their impeachment probe into President Biden, alleging he was involved in and profited from those deals. Meanwhile, House Republicans moving forward and recommending Hunter Biden be held in contempt of Congress for snubbing his subpoena last month.
I think we're sending a message loud and clear. We expect people to comply with our lawful subpoenas, regardless of what your last name is, and the days of the federal government turning a blind eye to the president's family's corruption is over.
Republicans asserting Hunter Biden's testimony is a critical component of the impeachment inquiry into President Biden.
They have no evidence showing that President Biden received payments from foreign actors, but they're spending their time searching for evidence that may or may not be there.
Bringing contempt charges against Hunter Biden will ultimately be up to the Justice Department. Republicans say it's a chance for Merrick Garland to prove there's not a two-tiered justice system, considering Biden's DOJ brought contempt charges against two former Trump officials for refusing to comply with subpoenas from the January 6th Select Committee. Comer says they hope to take the contempt of Congress resolution for Hunter Biden to the House floor for a vote as early as next week. In Washington, I'm Kayla Gaskins.
Our time right now is 5:20, still to come.
Is there something in your body that could make you more prone to spending more time on social media? I'm Liz Bonus. New study looks at inflammation. We explain just ahead.
You're watching Your Day.
It is time for Pet of the Day here on your day. And normally we celebrate pets. Today we're going to take a little different tack. Our friend Ellie hasn't been doing here that particularly well. Dennis asked, unfortunately, he's got to say goodbye to a friend and asked if we would mind putting him as Pet of the Day. And I thought it would be appropriate to note that, you know, our pets are wonderful human companions, and I hope that the memories of your pet do keep you smiling throughout the days ahead. Now, as for today, unfortunately, the weather is going to be quite gloomy, especially early on. It is going to be quite windy. We are going to see these winds 20, 30 mile per hour sustained. So if you are going to be, let's say, walking your pet or perhaps maybe out and about trying to go to your work, your car may shift around a little bit, especially if we get some of the top end gusts. Later on today, it's still going to be cloudy. Eventually, we may get some clearing overnight tonight, but if anything, that's going to allow a window where temperatures are going to drop even more. It's not a fun morning commute this morning, but I don't think it's going to be quite as treacherous as it was yesterday. Here's what it looks like outside if you're out and about. 70 and 75, very wet. 75 at 4. Maybe not looking that bad, but you see the camera there moving. And by 3rd Street, it is sopping wet there as you do see the raindrops on the camera itself.
The average American gets the, quote, perfect night's sleep only 130 times a year, according to new research. This means the remaining nights are lost to bad sleep or ones that result in staying awake all night. Now, this may be because the average American goes to sleep feeling stressed or anxious 3 days a week. This was conducted by one poll on behalf of Cornbread Hemp, and the results revealed that the stress is so all-consuming that it keeps respondents awake for an additional 3 hours after their intended bedtime. Well, Taco Bell launching a new value menu that also happens to be favorable to vegetarians. It offers 10 items for $3 or less and a new vegetarian build-your-own cravings box. The fast food chain set to launch these on Thursday. Now, the value menu prices vary from $1.19 to $2.99. And it is cold across much of the country. With snow in some parts, cross-country skiing enthusiasts are touting the benefits of the exercise. They say it challenges every single muscle and can help you de-stress. And it also burns a lot of calories. From the NASDAQ market site, I'm Jane King. Here's your health.
Could some of us be more destined to spend more time on social media? Medical reporter Liz Bonas shares a new discovery that's making this possible.
Hey there, everybody. Hello to you. This discovery is a connection through a level in your blood that measures inflammation. New research just published in the journal Brain, Behavior and Immunity shows a surprising finding between social media use and inflammation in the body.
Inflammation is often called a quiet killer in the body. It can raise your risk of heart disease and other serious joint problems such as arthritis. You measure inflammation through a level in the blood called C-reactive protein. When researchers looked at more than 500 young adults who were participating in a social media study, they found those who use social media a lot have a higher level of C-reactive protein in the blood. Researchers found even when they adjusted for other factors such as depression, personality type, and gender, in all of the subjects, people who were drawn to social media had this higher level of C-reactive protein. Nobody is quite sure why, but public health providers do say this.
All the time you're on social media, you're not active, and you need to be active to really, speed up your body to reduce inflammation. By inflammation, that is just your body sort of, reacting and not being able to fight infections and things like that.
So are some of us more wired to use this media physically, or do we get this level climbing when we spend more time on Facebook, X, and Instagram?
Since it's too soon to really know the answer to that, researchers say it's something to explore because it could help us target who's at risk for prolonged social media use or maybe even addiction to it. In the meantime, if you want to know more about your levels of inflammation, ask your doctor to check your C-reactive protein. It's a simple blood test. With your health news, I'm Liz Bonas reporting.
A new study finding exposure to video screens is potentially harmful to children under 2. According to the data, children exposed to screen time before that age were twice as likely to have issues with sensory processing. For this study, the screen time used was television. While they did not test tablets and cell phones, experts still recommend no exposure to any screens for kids up until they are 18 months old. After that, non-educational screen time should be limited to 1 hour per weekday and 3 hours on weekend days.
A robotics team in Louisiana helps get a furry friend back on her paws. Thanks to the Steel Eagles robotics team at Holy Savior Menard Central High School, this puppy is able to get around. Take a look at this. I love this. Oh, look how cute it is. The dog named Kangaroo lost both of her front legs at birth. Now, last year, the students were assigned to make a wheelchair for Rue, who took a little time to get used to the apparatus. Oh my God, that dog is so sweet. The first prototype with a 3D printer, but Rue has since outgrown it. The robotics teacher and students plan on working on more wheelchairs until Rue reaches full size. Oh my God, that dog is adorable. And good on those students too for doing this.
100%. I was about to say, robotics teams, you have to, they better win every award, and Alex over here is about to, yeah, there it is.
She gets triggered easily.
Yeah.
Oh, that was so cute.
It is certainly sweet, and even the directors and producers are in our ears like, oh, that's a cute story.
I mean, think about robotics teams. You know, some of them build like battle bot style things. These guys went, you know what, that dog needs a wheelchair. Hats off to them. And you know what, maybe they end up with a design that goes somewhere and that gets mass produced. So
like a BattleBots wheelchair for the dog.
Normally I'm the one who says stuff like that. I don't know how to feel being on this end.
I mean, don't mess with Rue, that's all I'm saying. Our time right now is 5:30. Wow, almost jumped us ahead an hour. Still to come.
It's time to get your car winter ready. We have tips after the break.
Taking a live look at the U.S. Capitol this morning, where a group of lawmakers is working to bring the VA History Center to the Miami Valley. Just had the new bill introduced by Ohio senators.
You're watching Your Day. Good morning, I'm Nathan Edwards.
And I'm Alex King. Here are 3 stories to get your day started. Michael Chi says comedians should boycott hosting award shows. Chi says it's hard to make movie stars laugh since they're way too self-conscious to have a good time. This comes after people criticize Joe Coy's hosting job in this weekend's Golden Globes.
Yeah, I would have to agree with Michael Che. I mean, honestly, You know, he does SNL all the time. He gets to roast people nonstop, but you could tell that this was a very difficult job because nobody else wanted it.
Yeah, people don't like getting made fun of anymore.
I just don't think award shows, I think they're probably a thing of the past.
You need a balance of, you
Yeah.
can't have too much comedy.
I don't know. A judge in the U.S. sentenced a man who tried to sell what he claimed to be Queen Elizabeth's walking stick. The 26-year-old put it up on eBay for $686, claiming the money will go to charity. He has to spend a year on probation.
What?
Yeah.
That's insane.
Yeah, look at her. She is a beast. The Queen, may she rest in peace.
Yes.
Yes, that's interesting. I mean, there are con artists out there everywhere.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not surprised.
If you're on eBay and you see Queen's walking stick, it's probably not the Queen's walking stick.
Probably not.
Use your head a little bit.
Especially for $686.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, it's critical thinking may be difficult for some people.
Yes, I think so. And if you've ever wanted to live on a remote island with a lighthouse, this could be your chance. A charity is looking for 2 people to work as accommodation wardens for this Welsh island. Oh my goodness. It's 0.69 square miles and is allegedly the burial site of Merlin the Magician. The job runs from March 1st through October 30th. Would
Just
you
what
do
I
it?
just what I want, to be haunted by a wizard alone on an island. That sounds like a great idea.
I would do it. Just
Yeah.
be on an island.
Hey, good luck with that. I'm fine.
Maybe it'll give me some magical powers. It is a windy and cool start to the morning, and conditions are expected to worsen this weekend with rain and snow.
Melina Brown is keeping you safe this morning with some tips to get your car winter ready. Melina?
Preparation is key. A few minutes at home can help you save a lot of headaches when you get out on the road. Now, there are plenty of easy ways to make sure your car is winter ready right from your own garage. First, you can clean your headlights and check your antifreeze levels. Consider adding repellent to your windshield to make scraping ice off easier. And after that, it can be important to go to professional to check your brakes, test your battery, and your tires. Your tires not being properly inflated or having enough tread can cause major issues.
You'll slide around, so you're not going to get very good traction at all. So whether it comes to braking and you have to hit the brakes and stop immediately, you're probably not going to stop very well.
It is also beneficial to have an ice scraper and jumper cables in your vehicle, as well as other emergency items to keep warm and safe in case you get stuck out in the winter weather. You can find all of these tips and more on our website, Dayton247now.com. Back to you.
Thousands across the country experiencing extreme weather. Anna Kuhn in Portland, Maine, reports on the torrential rain impacting their area.
I'm Anna Kuhn reporting in Portland, Maine. Up here, we're just starting to see some of the rainfall from this storm, but this is coming just a few days after Maine got a big snowfall. You can see here, there's still a lot of snow on the ground here in Maine, and it's that snow melt mixed with the rain. That's what's raising flooding concerns up here. Plus, in some parts of the coast, they're expecting to see 15 to 20-foot waves later tonight and a few feet of storm surge. That's only elevating that concern for coastal flooding here in Maine. In Portland, Anna Kuhn, back to you.
Here's what we're looking at. Wind advisory through noon today. The winds are going to be howling at times. It's rare I use the term howling because I think it really denotes how strong these winds could be. Think 30 to 50 miles per hour. Enough that, let's say you're a higher profile vehicle. Think your work vans, your box trucks, something similar. If you're traveling and you catch a cross breeze, that may push you half a lane over or something similar. So make sure that you're giving everybody extra space. Meanwhile, temperatures are in the 30s, which means it probably feels like the 20s. It'll feel like the 20s throughout much of the daytime as we do remain cloudy. If you're going to be on the roads today, it is also wet outside. We haven't had too many tie-ups or concerns across the greater Dayton area. Further to the southwest over at Moyer Road in 725. So that's well out there. That is where there is a report of a fallen tree.
Here's a live look over the U.S. Capitol this morning. A group of lawmakers working to bring the VA History Center to the Miami Valley. Senators J.D. Vance and Sherrod Brown, along with Congressman Mike Turner and Greg Landsman, just introduced the new bill. Now, if passed, Dayton would become the permanent home of the National VA History Center. The center will preserve VA-related artifacts, records, and historic materials right on the Dayton VA Medical Center campus. In a statement, Senator J.D. Vance says the Dayton VA Medical Center is steeped in history, and he's proud to sponsor the bill to bring the history to the area. Senator Brown called it an honor for the Dayton community and a way to honor Dayton VA's 150-year history. We'll hear more from Senator Vance this evening at 6.
This morning, some Republicans in Congress are raising questions about Speaker Mike Johnson's future. They say they're frustrated over the Speaker's new spending deal with Senate Democrats. It sets spending at $1.5 trillion. The agreement also included $16 billion in non-defense spending, but some conservatives say that's not enough.
I think there's going to be some real conversations this week about what we need to do going forward.
Does that include potentially moving to oust him from his job?
Yeah, I mean, again, that's not the road I prefer. I mean, we've gone down the road. I didn't prefer to go down that road with Speaker McCarthy. We need to figure out how to get this all done together. But it isn't good, and there's a lot of my colleagues who are pretty frustrated about it.
Conservatives pushed out former Speaker Kevin McCarthy partially for doing what Johnson is doing now. Congress has 2 deadlines coming up to avoid a government shutdown.
Time is running out to share your thoughts in the search for Dayton Public Schools' new superintendent. Right now is down to these finalists: current interim superintendent David Lawrence, Alicia Smith, the chief of schools at Cincinnati Public Schools, and H. Allen Smith II, the head of a school system in Texas. DPS wants you to participate in panel interviews. You can nominate yourself or someone else to be a part of the interview panel. Just go to the district's website and submit potential questions. The deadline is Friday. Now, next month, you can watch live stream and recorded interviews. Now, once you do that, you can give the Board of Education your feedback. Those haven't been scheduled yet. We'll let you know as soon as we learn new details.
Right now, crews are working on a new addition to Springfield High School. District leaders say the school-based health center will provide health care to their students and families. That includes primary care, vaccination, and health screenings. The district is also looking at offering dental and vision in the near future. Officials expect the health center to open for the 2024-25 school year.
A judge just unsealed the final batch of documents related to Jeffrey Epstein. Here's a list of some of the people mentioned, including former Presidents Clinton and Trump. You have Kevin Spacey, Bill Gates, David Copperfield, and Prince Andrew. This does not mean they did anything wrong. They were just mentioned in the documents. Now, we're also learning Epstein pleaded the Fifth hundreds of times. He even refused to answer whether he knew his ex-girlfriend Ghislaine Maxwell. Now, the documents come from a civil defamation suit against Maxwell from 2015. It alleges Maxwell participated in years-long sexual abuse of minors.
Right now, a panel of judges will decide whether former President Trump can be charged for allegedly trying to overturn the 2020 election. His attorneys went before an appeals court yesterday, arguing he has presidential immunity in the case.
A president has to have immunity. And the other thing is, I did nothing wrong. We did nothing wrong.
If you're going to prosecute the man running against the incumbent president, it better be a really slam dunk case.
Is expected to reach the Supreme Court. Right now, the former president's trial is set to start in March.
Our time right now, 5:41. Don't forget to get your headlines scrolling at the bottom of your screen.
And your weather on the side of the screen all morning long, even during commercials.
You're watching Your Day.
Here's what we're looking at for today. Temperatures are a bit cooler over the last 24 hours, but the difference is really going to be the afternoon and evening. We're simply not going to warm up. You see the wind speeds 10, 20, 25 miles per hour. The gusts themselves have gotten into the 30s. We have not seen any 40s yet, but it's possible, and dare I say, maybe even likely that we do have a period where it does become quite windy. As for the wind chill, reminder, this is what it feels like outside. 19 in Richmond, 23 in Dayton. This is driven more because of how strong the winds are than necessarily how cold it is. Sometimes you do get those mornings where it's so cold that any type of wind pushes it to feel rather bitter. But today it's more, I think, the opposite. As for today, temperatures pretty much stagnant all day, anywhere between mid to upper 30s. It's worth pointing out that today is going to be a cool day, but we're going to bounce back up at least a little bit for your Friday and also potentially for early parts of Saturday, and I do mean truly early. But beyond that, the bottom really starts to fall out as temperatures crash into 20s and teens.
Our time right now is 5:46. Ford is recalling nearly 140,000 of its vehicles. Just ahead how to find out if you're impacted.
You're watching Your Day.
The Dayton 24/7 Now News app, brought to you by the Jeff Schmidt Auto Group.
Good morning and welcome to a very windy Watson's Weather Patio. And I'm not sure if you can pick it up, but it is flurrying right now here in Miamisburg. It's worth pointing out that I think that it would actually be snowing a little bit heavier if it wasn't for the wind. Basically what the wind is doing is it's actually tearing apart some of the snowflakes throughout its journey down from the clouds. Kind of an interesting morning because in addition to the fact that it is windy, again, we do have the snow out and about. I think the heaviest snow may have left, but still there may be enough that from time to time you get a heavy burst and maybe just a little bit of a slick spot developing. One thing that is certainly apparent, it feels a lot colder than yesterday. Of course, yesterday wasn't a bad day overall, but we do expect it to be kind of a cold upcoming week ahead with these temperatures eventually teens and 20s for highs. And that's at best. We could actually see some temperatures approaching zero early next week.
Some Ford Focus owners should consider making an appointment with their dealers. The automaker's recalling nearly 140,000 cars because of a safety-related concern. According to the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration, Ford Focuses from 2016 to 2018 have faulty oil pump drive belts. Officials say this problem can cause loss of oil pressure, increase the chances of engine stall, or loss of power braking. The recall also applies to Ford EcoSports from 2018 through 2022. Owners of affected vehicles will be contacted and the problems will be repaired at no cost. To find more information or to see if your vehicle is impacted, head to the website on our screen right now. That's nhtsa.gov. There you're going to find a tab where you can search for problems impacting your specific vehicle.
Going above and beyond to help children and families, a Dayton police officer did just that recently.
He did it in part because he knows personally what it means. That's why, as Adam Arrow shows us, Officer Matthew Brown is a hometown hero.
Pulling bad guys out of the back of a police cruiser might be what you're used to seeing.
That's it. Okay. That's fine.
But that's not what you'll find coming out of Dayton Officer Matthew Brown's cruiser.
I sent an email out earlier in the month trying to get a bunch of different donations, men's, women's, kids. During the holidays, it's cold. So my biggest focus was to make sure that they had enough here.
Dayton police responded. Bag after bag and box after box full of donations. All of it going to St. Vincent de Paul. A meaningful donation Officer Brown personally knows the significance of.
I've been on the other side of this where you are the less fortunate, and people donating help to get by, and Goodwill, other thrift stores, things like that. So I understand the burden that these people had, and I wanted to try to make sure that I could help out in any way possible.
So during this holiday season, bad guys get a break from the back of this officer's cruiser. Instead, kindness and charity get first priority.
We're people out here trying to make sure that others are warm, they're safe. I mean, that's really what it comes down to. We're all people at the end of the day. We want to make sure that other people are taken care of.
Which is why Officer Matthew Brown of Dayton Police is a hometown hero.
If you know someone that's a hometown hero, let us know. Grab your phone and scan the QR code.
You can chime in your submission through our app. We see a description on why they're a hometown hero and a few pictures or video.
Our time right now is 5:52. What do you call a fight between actors? Star Wars. Disney announcing its plans for the next Star Wars film just ahead when Baby Yoda will be hitting the big screens.
You're watching Your Day.
Good morning. Here's what it looks like right now over the Beaver Creek area. One of those mornings were not particularly that fun to be out and about, but the good news is I really don't expect a ton of heavy duty weather the rest of the morning. And in fact, later on today, I'm not saying sunshine, but there may be a window where we could eke out from maybe a couple minutes of blue sky in amongst the clouds. That would be about all that I could give you for today. Meanwhile, tonight there will likely be a period of somewhat of clearing. Do think for tomorrow there could be a wave that does pass through. Not a particularly impressive wave, but maybe a few flurries during the front half of the day. Clearing during the second half, maybe by evening, we actually do get some blue sky for tomorrow. Meanwhile, Friday, probably waking up to clouds, which interesting is the models have trended colder and colder, but this may be all about temperature. It could be 35, 36, 37 as this wave comes through with some warmer temperatures expected. That would push it more towards a wet snow rain mixture as opposed to just all rain, something we're going to have to watch closely because in this environment, any snow that sticks around, A, is going to stick around through the weekend, and B, could actually be the type that makes temperatures next week significantly colder. Speaking of colder, today the cold day, tomorrow warmer. We'll be in the 40s as we drop down in 30s and eventually 20s this weekend. By next week, again, teens and single digits. If we do see any snow, could actually approach zero. On the roads this morning, just on one issue at Moyer Road at 725, but it is very, very wet outside. Every once in a while, you get that heavy flurry out on the roads.
Some great news for Star Wars fans. Disney announcing its popular Disney Plus streaming show, The Mandalorian, is coming to the big screen. Director Jon Favreau will produce, didn't direct the movie spinoff titled The Mandalorian and Grogu. Favreau says he loves telling stories set in the rich world created by Star Wars creator George Lucas. And he says the prospect of bringing The Mandalorian and his apprentice Grogu to the big screen is extremely exciting. The film is set to go into production in 2024. And those of you at home who may not be familiar with the show, Grogu is Baby Yoda. So everybody seems to love little Baby Yoda.
Yes.
It's a great show.
Yeah,
I
know
love
so many
this
people
show.
are obsessed with it. I haven't seen the show yet. I don't know why I haven't watched it yet.
It's cute. I loved it. I was able to watch it with my boys, and we had a lot of fun. I mean, he's the Baby Yoda character is just so stinking cute, and the
Yeah.
action's great in the show too. So,
All right, I'm gonna go home today and start watching it.
Nick, we know that you don't have streaming services.
Don't care for it. Look, our producer Allie loves Star Wars. Good for everybody who loves Star Wars. Don't care. That's where I'm at with the movies. Don't care. Give me something different. Anything.
Give me anything different, but not different, if you know what I mean. We got a lot more coming up on your day at 6 a.m.
It's time to get your car winter weather ready. Stay tuned for tips after the break.
We're getting more information about what exactly happened during Monday's police chase and shootout. Just ahead, what led to the incident.
You're watching Your Day.
Good morning, I'm Alex King.
And I'm Nathan Edwards. Here's 3 quick stories to get your day started. Get your tickets now for Muse Machine's production of 925. Dun, 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 dun. I just remember the Dolly song. It's great. Anyways, they got performances starting tomorrow night, and they run through Sunday at the Victoria Theater. A bunch of local kids ready to do a great show here. And what's cool is Alice and Janney actually visited the cast during rehearsals months ago.
That's really cool.
Yeah.
Look at them. They all look so happy.
Yeah, Muse Machine's great.
It's
I
so
did Muse
cute.
Machine when I was in high school, and great opportunity for the kiddos.
Yeah, definitely. And this Saturday is STEM for All at the Boonshaft. You can visit the museum for free and learn all about science and have fun with the whole family. I know you were mentioning they have a lot of interactive things you can get involved with there, so that's
Yeah, whether it be science experiments,
Yeah.
they have veterinary stuff with the animals there. They bring out the animals and they talk about them, and you can get up close and sometimes pet them, which is kind of cool.
so much fun.
Yeah, they have the Boonshaft's so much fun, and plus you can just let your kids run wild for a few minutes and take a mental break, and then you're back.
memorized by some
Then you're
fun
back.
science stuff.
Then you're back to crazy. Val's Bakery is holding its grand opening at its new location this Saturday at 9 a.m. Now it's at the St. Clair Lofts, those shops right underneath. After moving from Brown Street, they've been wanting a downtown location for a long time, and here they go.
I love the vibe.
Yeah, do yourself a favor and go check out their Instagram account because their treats are amazing. They're beautiful. Yeah.
Check it out.
Yeah, bring them in.
Okay. And it is a windy and chilly start to the day, and more winter weather arrives in next week.
Melina Brown is keeping you safe this morning with some tips to get your car ready as the conditions worsen this winter. Melina.
We have lucked out so far this year with a mild winter, but you can kind of see that's changing quickly. Yesterday, we saw multiple crashes here in the Miami Valley, and it serves as a reminder to get your car ready for any situation. According to AAA, winter storms and bad weather contribute to almost 500,000 crashes every winter and more than 2,000 road deaths. AAA recommends keeping cold weather gear in your car like food, water, blankets, and medications. You should also make sure your tires are properly inflated and the tread is safe. And try to keep at least a half a tank of gas in your car at all times. And never use cruise control when it's raining, snowing, or icy. Now, there are also tips if you plan on taking a longer road trip this winter. You can head to AAA.com to find those. Now, coming up in a bit, we're going to discuss what you can do at home to get your car ready. Back to you.
And millions of people across the U.S. impacted by extreme weather yesterday.
Yeah, a number of states already declaring states of emergency, including Florida, North Carolina, and New Jersey.
In Maryland, floodwaters are expected to reach record levels. Yesterday, multiple roads were closed amid reports of power outages as flood warnings were issued. A flooding barricade called a flood boom was deployed, and sandbags were put in place to help deal with the rising waters.
75% of Florida counties are under a state of emergency after 4 confirmed tornadoes moved across the Sunshine State yesterday. The National Weather Service reported a large and extremely dangerous tornado near Panama City. A dangerous tornado also hit near the city of Mariana. There have been multiple reports of minor injuries, but no fatalities from the twister activity so far. Now I'm joined by meteorologist Nick Maruziak. Nick, I think when people think of Florida, they think of hurricanes, but they are one of the most active tornado states.
Yeah, and you think about it, this is the time of year where you do get that clash of warm and cold air that typically occurs May, June, July across the Midwest. This is the case where it goes down to Florida, and that's why they can't get tornadoes. And we saw this yesterday early on in the morning. I think I actually pointed out the tornado warnings in Dothan area. Sad to see, obviously, a tornado there, but we had our own wet weather to deal with here.
And frankly, I think we kind of lucked out in terms of severity compared to other states.
Yeah, it was more of an impact day due to the fact that it was wet than it was the true actual weather that caused a lot of it. So let's get to it, shall we? Because this morning we still have some issues outside. It's not like it's pouring rain or snowing heavily. One thing it is quite windy outside. We have a wind advisory. What that means is that these winds could gust upwards of 50 miles per hour. That through noontime. Right for now, they're in the mid 30s. This is what I would call breezy, borderlining on the windy end of the spectrum. Meanwhile, across the area, we do have a snow shower over Dayton. We've actually picked up a little bit of light flurries, if anything. So it's a morning where it's not 10 out of 10 ideal, nowhere near that, but it's definitely not the most hazardous conditions, considering that we're not dealing with snow on the ground and also blizzard conditions. It's simply just kind of annoying outside, a nuisance system. Meanwhile, if you're on the roads this morning, a couple things that we're tracking. Obviously, one's the wet roads. Number two is any incidents. One at Linden Ave, at Livingston Ave, but that is it so far. Everything else seems to be moving smoothly.
This morning, we're getting a clear picture of what happened during Monday's police chase and shootout. It all started in Trotwood and ended along US 35 near the Dayton VA. Jenny Borek breaks down what we know so far.
Terrifying moments now coming more into focus. The driver of a white truck crashing on top of a Trotwood police cruiser following a high-speed chase Monday morning. 911 calls just released, making it more clear how this all started.
Oh, this guy just tried to run this lady over with the truck. Yeah, it's not good. I need somebody here quickly, please.
The call coming from the manager of a Trotwood mobile home park. She's locked herself in her office with the victim. She tells dispatch the driver of the truck is still in the area. More 911 calls start coming in from other witnesses.
Oh my God, I'm shaking. It was awful.
Police say after officers get to the mobile home park, the suspect points a long weapon at them and speeds off. Officers chase. Just released, ODOT video shows some of what happened next. The truck can be seen speeding away from what's become several officers along US 35. It appears the truck hits stop sticks but doesn't slow down. Later, it looks like the driver throws something out of the truck but keeps going. Bryant Keeble says he saw a lot of it. He started filming when he saw the stop sticks come out, thinking something might happen.
Yeah, it was wild. It was hectic for real. I couldn't believe it. You know, when my initial reaction was just like disbelief.
But that was just the beginning. Keeble catches the truck landing on top of the Trotwood police cruiser. Officers move in. That's when Keeble says he had to act quickly.
Shots are going everywhere. I didn't know where they was coming from. I didn't know where they were going. So yeah, I tried to back out at first in the car, and I seen it was too much traffic behind me. So I got out and started running. Yeah, it did sound like the shots was just whizzing all over the place.
Dayton Police will give us an update later this morning. We will bring you that live online as it happens. To get updates sent directly to your phone, download the Dayton 24/7 app. Just scan the QR code on your screen right now. You can find it for free in your device's app store.
Ohio's new social media law is on hold. A judge temporarily blocked it from going into effect next Monday. It would have forced social media companies to get verifiable parental consent for users under 16.
We didn't ban anything. We just don't want these companies and maybe some of the strangers on these platforms to reach your little ones before they're ready.
The judge called the law, quote, too broad. A group representing social media companies say it's a violation of a child's First Amendment rights. In a statement, Governor Mike DeWine says he's disappointed in the injunction, saying, quote, the negative effects that social media sites and apps have on our children's mental health have been well documented, and this law was one way to empower parents to have a role in their kids' digital lives.
Today, state lawmakers will try to override Governor DeWine's veto of the SAFE Act. Now the measure would ban gender-affirming care for transgender kids, including hormone treatment, surgeries, and puberty blockers. It also bans trans kids from competing in female sports. Governor DeWine vetoed the bill when it got to his desk, saying he trusts a child's parents and doctors to make the right decisions. He then signed an executive order banning gender reassignment surgeries for kids. The House and Senate need a 3/5 vote to override the veto.
Also happening in Columbus today, a House committee is planning on making changes to the so-called bathroom bill. It would require K-12 schools to designate male and female bathrooms. Lawmakers say they want to add the definition of biological sex. The goal is to align the measure with other bills going through the House, like the SAFE Act.
We now know the name of the man killed in a shooting in Butler Township. The Montgomery County coroner says Benny Fentress died on Sunday. Police found the 41-year-old's body at a home on Creekview Circle with a gunshot wound. The suspect's behind bars this morning, but police haven't said who that person is.
Two people in Huber Heights are now waking up with relatives this morning after a car crashed into their home. Check this out. Police say it happened around 9 yesterday morning. According to investigators, they believe the driver had a medical condition, possibly leading to the crash. Crews took that driver to the hospital. No word on their condition.
Moving live over the Troy traffic circle this morning, Upper Valley Medical Center is closing its labor and delivery unit next month. Premier Health says there's a declining birth rate locally. Last year, the hospital had an average of less than 1 delivery a day. Now, officials say they're also facing challenges recruiting doctors. UVMC will continue to perform gynecological surgery. Staff at UVMC will be able to move within Premier Health.
Community leaders across the Miami Valley are joining together to combat hunger in the area. The Super Bowl of Caring is helping to eliminate child hunger in Dayton. Our partners will be accepting food and monetary donations throughout the area. Those donations will then be distributed to 3 local organizations: the Food Bank for the Love of Children, or Flock, and the House of Bread. You can help by taking out your phone and scanning this QR code to make a donation. You have until February 12th.
Our time right now, 6:11. Don't forget you can get your headlines scrolling at the bottom of your screen.
And your weather on the side of the screen all morning long, even during commercials.
On the heels of an impeachment hearing for Homeland Security Secretary Mayorkas, a trip to the border, and a widening debate over the best path forward. I'm Christine Frizzell with the latest.
You're watching Your Day. We're going to give you a live look at the U.S. Capitol this morning as questions over the widening crisis at our southern border is putting a renewed focus on the magnitude of what is needed for those already in our country and how to best respond at the border itself.
National correspondent Christine Frizzell joins us now with more on the crisis at the border.
Homeland Security Secretary Alejandro Mayorkas this week praising the work of U.S. Customs and Border Patrol on the front lines of what he says has been a global challenge.
It is a challenge that countries throughout the Western Hemisphere are experiencing. It is also a challenge that is, quite frankly, gripping the entire world.
And while the numbers of those coming has broken records, Secretary Mayorkas disagrees with those who say the border is open.
We are delivering consequences for individuals who do not use those lawful pathways.
But that statement seems to contradict what he reportedly told CBP agents in private, that 85% of those who arrive at the border are being released into the United States as they await their asylum hearings, with a renewed focus on how they're cared for as they wait.
If you send us someone to Denver who has to wait 6 years for a court hearing and they can't work in the meantime, we're going to need almost endless amounts of federal support.
That federal support for food and shelter, health care, and education.
If you take 1/4 of the encounters that we saw in December alone and say that those were 75,000 kids, kindergarten through 12, that somebody has to pay to educate. Guess who that somebody is? It's the American public.
The American public growing more weary as shelters reach capacity and local resources run out, while the debate plays out over solutions.
The solution is to stop the flow. The solution is to seal the border.
The chaos and lawlessness at our borders right now is not going to be solved by throwing more money at it. We have to change the open border policies of this administration.
Some Democrats calling for a more streamlined system.
Would you shorten the path to citizenship?
I think we need to clarify it. We need to make it easier.
Things are not expected to get easier for Secretary Alejandro Mayorkas as Republicans prepare to hold their first impeachment hearing against him in less than 24 hours here on Capitol Hill. I'm Christine Frizzell reporting.
Good morning. We are waking up to wind speeds 10, 20, 25 miles per hour. The wind gusts themselves have reached into the 30s. There are some spots that just have not been as windy, Troy in particular, although that may be just the weather sensor wherever it is in Troy not registering winds. Sometimes you do get a sensor that isn't registering as strong as they actually are. Wind chills themselves are in the 20s, meaning it's pretty chilly outside, and all day today it will be chilly. Temperatures only going to be in the mid-30s, and with the winds being what they are, I think that it's going to be a case where we're really just not going to warm up at any given point. What you see is what you get. The only better part of the second half of the day, maybe just the fact that it's not quite as wet. Speaking of wet, obviously the roads are wet right for now. We haven't seen any traffic issues though. There's some good news. Still though, 70, 75, 675, 35 and 4 are moving okay at this hour.
Our time right now is 6:17. You're watching Your Day.
Good morning. We are waking up to, right for now, a somewhat quiet morning commute, but certainly one that has featured some wet weather. One of those cases where you do look at it and you get a little bit of the wet weather. You get the roads are wet and the rain in the air. There we go. Searching for that term there, and it just makes for kind of a more difficult one overall. Now, if you are traveling, the good news is once you get past this morning, it should get better. Maybe not looks better, but getting better. We are going to see some chances for clear sky overnight tonight. Now, is it going to stay clear all night? No. By tomorrow morning, there could be a wave or two that brings us flurries or light snow showers. That should pass by the afternoon. In fact, the afternoon may actually clear a little bit before we get towards dark. Friday, the big storyline we're watching is the next chance of wet weather. Probably rain more than snow. But what the models have trended towards is a rain-snow solution, which means these temperatures could be mid to upper 30s as this gets going. And it may be a wet snow mixture that kicks off this. As for today, temperatures mid to upper 30s. Tonight, down to low 30s. We will be warmer tomorrow, but nowhere near as warm as yesterday's high of around 50. Don't forget, yesterday was a mild day despite the rain. We will be looking at potentially the coldest period of the season so far. Sunday, Monday, and Tuesday, temperatures teens and eventually dropping into single digits. Now, as for the roads this morning, obviously I mentioned it, it's wet. You have that wet snow, the rain, whatever mixture it may be falling. It's just not a particularly fun morning commute, but at least at this point, no crashes or tie-ups to report.
Our time right now is 6:22. Digital producer Max waiting in the wings. Your Facebook poll question coming up in minutes.
You're watching Your Day.
Time for Pet of the Day here on Your Day, where every once in a while we get a story that we just have to bring to you. And this is Dennis's dog, Ellie. Ellie, unfortunately, has been not doing very well, and he's got to say goodbye to his friend. He actually asked us if we may put Ellie up for Pet of the Day, and I felt really that we had to, because we really want to celebrate pets, but we also need to celebrate how much they mean to us. And in this case, my condolences to Dennis on having to say goodbye to a friend. As for today, not exactly a great looking day. Temperatures will be in the mid 30s. It'll be cloudy skies. Really not looking at any type of heavy duty weather, but we are going to be looking at a kind of a wet, sloppy day. And in addition, we are going to have to deal with the winds, hence the yellow pause early on today. Meanwhile, if you're on the roads this morning, we haven't seen any tie-ups or concerns. Obviously, everything's still wet from yesterday, and we dealt with overnight rain and snow showers, so it is still quite wet out as of right now.
Digital producer Max standing by with a poll question this morning up on our Facebook page. Max, how you doing?
I'm doing great. This is a very personal, close to my heart poll question, because I say howdy way too much. It started as a joke, but it's not a joke anymore. Do you have a catchphrase or something you just say way too often?
You said howdy?
I say howdy.
That's one of mine.
That is one of yours.
That's one of mine. I do say howdy so much, like
Yes.
greeting of people. Another one is I'm dead inside.
Yes.
Which seems to
He
be.
says that every single morning.
Yep. Like, how you doing? I'm dead inside. Or I say, oh, which means not well. And then Yas Queen, I do like saying Yas Queen.
I have heard you say Yas Queen.
Okay, Alex?
Mine, I say oh my Lanta a lot.
Oh my gosh.
Oh my Lanta. And I also say I love that for you.
Okay.
It could be either real or sarcastic.
I hear I love that for you a lot.
I do say that a
Yes,
lot.
you do.
Yeah.
Nick, you probably have more catchphrases than all of us.
It got so bad at my first station, they put up a list of my catchphrases.
Let's go to the weather wall, shall we?
Yes, and I had to check it off every time I said it. I got in double digits inside of 5 days.
We should have like a bingo card.
I
that'd
think
be so
we would probably
fun.
hit every day. Nick says the same things over and over again. Nick, what is it? What is there
do you
one?
say?
Tell me.
You say frankly a lot.
You just
Story
say,
time.
Story time.
If you really think about it.
Think about it. Here we go. I got a lot. Trust me.
By
It's gonna be a
and
wet
large, you say
day
that a lot.
outside.
By and large. Oh, yeah.
By and large.
Front half, back half of the day. Yeah.
It's just, as a meteorologist, you have to have a good catchphrase.
Haven't you heard them? Like, they've literally been saying all
I will put together a bingo card.
We'll help put together a list for you, Max. Good stuff. Go chime in right now. We'll be back with your answers in the next hour.
Our time right now is 6:28. Still to come.
It's time to get your car weather ready for the winter. Stay tuned. We have tips after the break.
But first, here's Stacey Bell with America's Steals and Deals.
The following segment is sponsored by Knocking.
If you're like me and everybody in your house is on a health journey, this Counto digital scale is really going to help you maintain a healthy lifestyle. I did a lot of research and I'm so excited about this. I'm going to show you what you get when you bring it home. But it is a digital scale and it gives you 12 different body measurements, not just your weight, because our weight really fluctuates. So this is going to give you more information, like you'll get your BMI, your bone index, and your basal metabolic rate. And if you're a new mom, it's really cool because there's a baby growth setting and you can put it in baby mode. And if you're an athlete, like I have a lot of muscle men in my house, you can also measure your muscle mass. I don't like getting on a scale. I do not, but knowledge is power. And this gives me so much information. It's really been a game changer with my health along that journey. This pairs with any smartphone. So you can take all of that data on this scale and it's going to be on your app. Now, let me tell you how this works. The science is a little bit much. The scale can measure all these things. All you got to do, you step on it. It uses bioelectrical impedance, which measures how easily an electrical signal can move throughout your body. I know it's a lot, but that signal is going to move faster through muscle, so it can help you track what's muscle and what's fat. This is such a great deal and a cool product. Right now, we're offering 38% off the Counto scale. Head over to asadeals.com for this exclusive offer.
Good morning, I'm Nathan Edwards.
And I'm Alex King. Here are 3 stories to get your day started. Michael Che says comedian should boycott hosting award shows. Honestly, I agree. Che says it's hard to make movie stars laugh since they're way too self-conscious to have a good time. This comes after people criticized Joe Coy's hosting job in this weekend's Golden Globes.
With Taylor Swift's death stare.
Yeah.
It was a cheap shot. It wasn't even clever.
People were not loving his jokes.
I mean, he was last minute. He was like they should take washed up comedians and throw them in there. Like Pauly Shore, Carrot Top, and just see what happens. You know?
Oh, according to our producer, he had 3 weeks to prepare.
Yeah, whatever.
That's plenty of time.
That's
They should have some better
They should have gotten
material than that.
Pauly Shore. Andy Dick. No, they'd get fired for that. A judge in the U.S. sentenced a man who tried to sell what he claimed to be Queen Elizabeth's walking stick. The 26-year-old put up for sale on eBay for $686, claiming the money will go to charity. He has to spend a year on probation.
I think just the fact that he only tried to sell it for $686 kind of gives it away.
I would say, what a stupid thing to get in trouble for.
I would almost believe it more if it was like almost $1 million.
I would rather sell those glasses. Those are dope.
Those are dope.
Yeah.
I would keep those for myself.
She's got that drip.
I'm trying to imagine you in these glasses right now.
I would look sick. What are you talking about?
They would actually look.
I'd probably have eucalyptus mints in my pocket.
I could see you rocking.
You know? Yeah. What up?
I have a fur jacket on.
I would be like
I am Knuff.
I'd look like Joe Shiesty with his Cartier glasses.
Yeah.
Not quite.
I love it. If you've ever wanted to live on a remote island with a lighthouse, this could be your chance. A charity is looking for 2 people to work as accommodation wardens for this Welsh island. This is beautiful. It's 0.69 square miles and is allegedly the burial site of Merlin the Magician. The job runs from March 1st through October 30th.
Yeah, no, I'm good.
It's not even a full year there on that.
Still, it
March
looks
to October, that's easy.
way too remote.
It's just a long vacation.
Yeah, no, I'm
I
good.
could read so many books.
I would be bored.
Peace and
I would be
quiet.
bored in
Oh.
5 seconds.
It is a windy and cool start to the morning, and conditions are expected to worsen this weekend with rain and snow.
Melena Brown is keeping you safe this morning with some tips to get your car winter ready. Melena.
Preparation is key. A few minutes at home working on your car, making sure that it's going to be ready to get on the road is going to save you a lot of headaches. Now, there are plenty of easy ways to make sure your car is winter ready right from your own garage. First, you can clean your headlights and check your antifreeze levels. Consider adding repellent to your windshield to make scraping off ice easier. After that, it can be important to go to a professional to check your brakes, test your battery, and your tires. Your tires not being properly inflated or having enough tread can cause major issues.
You'll slide around, so you're not going to get very good traction at all. So whether it comes to braking and you have to hit the brakes and stop immediately, you're probably not going to stop very well.
It is also beneficial to have an ice scraper and jumper cables in your vehicle, as well as other emergency items to keep warm and safe in case you get stuck out in the winter weather. Now, you can find all these tips and more right on our website, Dayton247now.com. Back to you.
Thousands across the country experiencing some extreme weather. Morgan Scott shows us the intense wind that's knocking down power lines in parts of New York.
Here in Oswego, you can certainly feel those strong wind gusts starting to pick up and just carry on throughout the night, which we're expecting it to become even stronger, causing a lot of people to experience some power outages and just some power lines falling out into the roads, which we've seen not too much here in Oswego, but what we did see earlier was quite a bit of rainfall that actually helped to melt some of this snow that was left here overnight and really over the weekend from that past snowstorm we have. But just to give you a better indication of the wind that we're feeling here, take a look at some of these lights here hanging from the pole. As you can see, they're just swinging, which kind of gives you a feel for the breeze that I'm feeling out here. Pretty strong winds out here in Oswego, but neighbors here in central New York are embracing this kind of weather, especially after not having it for so long this winter. Reporting in Oswego, I'm Morgan Scott.
Well, it was a morning where we woke up to not only winds, but also some light snow showers. Not exactly an impressive setup in terms of wet weather, but was a couple here or there. And based off the low's trajectory, we'll probably see the area where the snow showers will be start to turn off a little bit. Meanwhile, for this morning, the temperatures are going to remain quite stagnant, mid-30s, low 30s, somewhere in that ballpark. We'll call it cloudy and windy, but every once in a while you may get a burst of snow. It's kind of an interesting setup because of the wind. The snow seems to be amplified, but because of the wind, there's less ability for the snow to stick around. The flakes are just getting torn apart by the strong winds. Meanwhile, on the roads this morning, obviously very, very wet outside. But for right now, traffic seems to be moving okay. We don't have any types or concerns at this hour.
A group of lawmakers are working to bring the VA History Center to the Miami Valley. Senators J.D. Vance and Sherrod Brown, along with Congressman Mike Turner and Greg Landsman, just introduced a new bill. Now, if passed, the Dayton VA will become the permanent home of the National VA History Center. The center will preserve VA or related artifacts, records, and historic materials right on the Dayton VA Medical Center campus. Now, in a statement, Senator J.D. Vance says the Dayton VA Medical Center is steeped in history, and he's proud to sponsor the bill to bring the History Center to the area. Senator Brown called it an opportunity for the Dayton community and a way to honor the Dayton VA's 150-year history. We'll hear more from Senator Vance at 6 this evening.
This morning, some Republicans in Congress are raising questions about Speaker Mike Johnson's future. They say they're frustrated over the Speaker's new spending deal with the Senate Democrats. It sets spending at $1.5 trillion. The agreement also included $16 billion in non-defense spending. But some conservatives say that's not enough.
I think there's going to be some real conversations this week about what we need to do going forward.
Does that include potentially moving to oust him from his job?
Yeah, I mean, again, that's not the road I prefer. I mean, we've gone down the road. I didn't prefer to go down that road with Speaker McCarthy. We need to figure out how to get this all done together. But it isn't good, and there's a lot of my colleagues who are pretty frustrated about it.
Conservatives pushed out former Speaker Kevin McCarthy partially for doing what Johnson is doing now. Congress has 2 deadlines coming up to avoid a government shutdown.
Time's running out to share your thoughts for the search for Dayton Public Schools' new superintendent. Right now, it's down to these finalists: current interim superintendent David Lawrence, Alicia Smith, the chief of schools at Cincinnati Public Schools, and H. Allen Smith II, the head of a school system in Texas. DPS wants you to participate in a panel. You can nominate yourself or someone else to be part of an interview panel. Just go to the district's website here and submit potential questions. The deadline is Friday. Next month, you can watch the live stream recorded interviews, and once you do that, you can give the Board of Education your feedback. Those haven't been scheduled just yet. We'll let you know as soon as we learn new details.
Right now, crews are working on a new addition to Springfield High School. District leaders say the school-based health center will provide health care to their students and families. That includes primary care, vaccination, and health screenings. The district is also looking at offering dental and vision in the near future. Officials expect the health center to open up for the 2024-25 school year.
Our time right now is 6:41. Don't forget, you can get your headlines scrolling at the bottom of your screen.
And your weather on the side of the screen all morning long, even during commercials.
You're watching Your Day.
the Dayton 24/7 Now News app, brought to you by the Jeff Schmidt Auto Group.
Weather Window, presented by the National Weather Desk.
Intense weather continued across the country Tuesday. The National Weather Service to assess if a tornado scattered these bricks and caused other damage in Bamberg, South Carolina. In North Carolina, this retaining wall toppled onto cars after heavy and steady rain near Asheville. Flooding also a concern in parts of western North Carolina, and Green Bay, Wisconsin, among parts of the country dealing with snow.
For more content like this, follow the National Weather Desk on Instagram.
Topping this morning's Dayton Business Journal headlines, a Miamisburg engineering consulting firm is expanding. LBJ Incorporated acquired Denver, Colorado-based Bridge and Stream Engineering Incorporated. The firm provides study, design, and permitting services specialized for the railroad industry. Bridge and Stream CEO says the partnership will help grow the team's initiatives. To read more about this story and others like it, head to Dayton247now.com, click on the news tab, and select Dayton Business Journal.
Our time right now is 6:45. You're watching Your Day.
Good morning. This is what it looks like on radar when you take away a lot of the computer interpretation. Actually, just go to the raw radar feed. Let's take the wider view look. Here's the low, and you get a really good idea of the low circulation and why. As it continues to move out of the area, what you're going to see is these lines start to move a little bit closer. And what that means is it starts to drag the wet weather further and further to the east, and that will basically shut off the supply, if you will, of moisture off of Lake Michigan. Still, it's plenty wet out there this morning. It's been drizzling, raining, a little bit of wet snow. Hasn't been necessarily the most impactful in terms of, let's say, inches of snow. And going back to yesterday, even that wasn't necessarily the craziest weather day. Yes, we saw a lot of rain, but the difference is you look at it and it was the type of rain that we really didn't have to deal with flooding concerns or something like that. It was simply put that it was very wet, and a lot of it did occur right in time with that morning commute. Now, meanwhile, tonight we could get couple of the clouds to clear out. For tomorrow, we may wake up to another round of flurries, but in general, I'd expect it to be cloudy. Temperatures tomorrow should run into the low 40s. We'll also be in the 40s for Friday, but then the bottom falls out Saturday. It does look like Sunday, Monday, and Tuesday will be heavily, and I do mean heavily, influenced by the next system and how much snow we get. If we do pick up at least measurable snow, there's a chance we go all the way down towards zero. Meanwhile, on the roads this morning, only one incident to report, Linden Ave at Livingston Ave. As for the rest of the area, it seems to be moving A-OK as of right now.
Our time right now is 6:51. We're getting more information about what exactly happened during Monday's police chase and shootout. Just ahead, what led to the incident.
You're watching Your Day.
It is a windy and chilly start to the day, and more winter weather arrives next week.
Melina Brown's keeping you safe this morning with some tips to get your car ready as conditions worsen this winter. Melina.
We have lucked out so far this year with a mild winter, but that's changing quickly. Yesterday, we saw multiple crashes in the Miami Valley, and it's a great reminder to make sure your car is ready to go. AAA reports that storms and bad weather contribute to almost 500,000 crashes every winter and more than 2,000 road deaths. AAA recommends keeping cold weather gear in your car like food, water, blankets, and medications, and also make sure your tires are properly inflated and the tread is safe, and try to keep at least half a tank of gas in your vehicle at all times. Also, never use cruise control when it's raining, snowy, or icy. There are also tips for if you're taking a long road trip this winter. You can head to AAA's website. It's just AAA.com. Coming up in a bit, we are going to share how you can take your own personal steps at home to make sure your car is ready to go. Back to you.
This morning, we're getting a clearer picture of what happened during Monday's police chase and shootout. It started in Trotwood and ended along US 35 near the Dayton VA. Jenna Lee Borick breaks down what we know so far.
Terrifying moments now coming more into focus. The driver of a white truck crashing on top of a Trotwood police cruiser following a high-speed chase Monday morning. 911 calls just released, making it more clear how this all started.
Oh, this guy just tried to run this lady over with the truck. Yeah, it's not good. I need somebody here quickly, please.
The call coming from the manager of a Trotwood mobile home park. She's locked herself in her office with the victim. She tells dispatch the driver of the truck is still in the area. More 911 calls start coming in from other witnesses.
Oh my God, I'm shaking. It was awful.
Police say after officers get to the mobile home park, the suspect points a long weapon at them and speeds off. Officers chase. Just released, ODOT video shows some of what happened next. The truck can be seen speeding away from what's become several officers along US 35. It appears the truck hits stop sticks but doesn't slow down. Later, it looks like the driver throws something out of the truck but keeps going. Bryant Keeble says he saw a lot of it. He started filming when he saw the stop sticks come out, thinking something might happen.
Yeah, it was wild. It was hectic for real. I couldn't believe it. You know, when my initial reaction was just like disbelief.
But that was just the beginning. Keeble catches the truck landing on top of the Trotwood police cruiser. Officers move in. That's when Keeble says he had to act quickly.
Shots are going everywhere. I didn't know where they was coming from. I didn't know where they were going. So yeah, I tried to back out at first in the car, and I seen it was too much traffic behind me. So I got out and started running. Yeah, but it did sound like the shots was just whizzing all over the place.
Dayton police are giving us an update later this morning. We'll bring you that live online as soon as it happens. And to get updates sent directly to your phone, download the Dayton 24/7 app. Scan the QR code on your screen right now. You can also find it for free in your device's app store.
Ohio's new social media law is on hold. A judge temporarily blocked it from going into effect next Monday. It would have forced social media companies to get verifiable parental consent for users under 16.
We didn't ban anything. We just don't want these companies and maybe some of the strangers on these platforms to reach your little ones before they're ready.
The judge